Good afternoon. Happy New Year. My name is Daniel Chapin. I will be delivering a speech based on memory today. Memories are the foundation of identity for many. They are the storage of information, of experience, of anguish, or ecstasy. There are a variety of different memories that may be stored, and they are not stored in a single part of the brain, but multiple regions depending on their nature. Information regarding memory is generally not understood by the layman, and society as a whole could benefit from realizing that this mental phenomena has physical correlations with the structures of the brain. Understanding the structures, processes, interactions, and how one may retrieve their memories can provide advantages to anyone who wishes to master their cognitive processes. Childhood memories at a dear time are usually what comes to mind when discussing memory. These are called explicit memories. They are memories that revolve around episodic events and semantic context. An example of explicit memory is remembering a specific phrase that was spoken, a sensation that was felt, and the recall of the emotions that were experienced in that setting. Sensations, emotions, and semantics are all forms of data which are processed by different regions of the brain. The relationship is rather complicated. Primary regions that permit explicit memory to form are the hippocampus, the neocortex, and the amygdala. The hippocampus, the amygdala, and the basal ganglia, and the cerebellum, are all parts of the limbic system that are associated with memory. While other areas of the brain are associated with memory, it is the hippocampus which is primarily responsible for forming and storing explicit memory. The amygdala's involvement in forming memory is probably the most meaningful due to its governance of emotions and the subsequent release of chemicals to respond. An example, hormones. These hormones are cortisol, adrenaline, and, well, it all depends on the dissipation of the use of the amygdala as well. But anyway. The basal ganglia is responsible for enduring memories and also motor, or as they say in layman's terms, muscle memory. Spatial memory is stored within the parietal lobe, and this is a very important, often undervalued form of memory that serves to ensure survival. The visual memories are encoded through the occipital lobe. So you can see that it is not just one region, but many that helps form memory. Sequence of memory formation and learning is simplified to encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding is the absorption of information. Receiving is the interaction of processing information in relation to the senses, the environment, or as constructionists would say, the context. Storage entails recording of information. Retrieval process is the process of bringing memory out of storage and recall. So, trying to remember something is basically going to be the end goal of retrieval. Subcortical structures within the brain are responsible for forming memory and learning. However, since all four lobes of the brain are involved, the cortical process is also active. So I suppose the answer to how the process of forming a memory is that it is both cortical and subcortical. Environmental influence on memory and learning is significant, really bolsters the argument for holistic health. Sleep, diet, exercise, emotional regulation, meaningful interpersonal relationships, and a positive perspective all influence one's ability to learn. The deficits of these are really not healthy for you or your cognitive processes. When these needs are not being met, then it is obvious that learning to meet these needs will supersede any other task. However, this is often the goal of the aesthetic, to overcome the needs and come to terms with the cognitive narrative that persists, something that your common Westerner will not really engage with. Electrical signals and the release of chemicals occur in accordance with the interaction of an individual within their environment. Communication takes place to meet the requirements of a situation. Electrical signals of the nervous system initiate action of neurons to make connections through synapse. For the best execution of a task, rehearsals help tremendously, since they create the pathway required neurologically before the task is taken and thus speed up the rate of communication between command and action. Phrases like practice makes perfect are premised on the concept of consistently making those connections, while on the other hand, the phrase if you don't use it, you lose it is premised on the opposite. And if we go back to it, fundamental principle of neuroscience would be that you have neuroplasticity. So that's my my speech on memory, learning, and I will admit that I'm a novice at understanding this, but a great introduction for me during this class. Thank you.